Morning team, Coach Dylan here, coming all the way from Hobart in Tasmania this morning, and I am going to give you guys something that has been well received in terms of a presentation. And once I kick into it, you guys will find that it's very useful. My goal for this is to help you guys identify and understand the four bosses that basically stop you in your tracks from 0 to 10K, 10 to 30K, and then 40K plus a month as an online business. So I'm going to kick into it. Allow with me as I bring up the presentation so that I can make this slick as fuck. Then we're going to go and crush it, guys. If you are watching on the live, make sure you save this post. Make sure you send it to yourself or something like that in your messenger so that you can keep it for later on. Other than that, it will be uploaded into the podcast and also on my YouTube channel, which you can find the Mamba Method online fitness businesses. Cool. So let me kick in. And then I'm going to present from my slides. If you are listening on the podcast, just send us a message and we will send you over the audio visual version. All right, guys, cool. Once again, my name is Coach Dylan. I am the head of the Mamba Method, which is part of the Inner Circle fitness businesses, where we help online coaches go from completely stuck on the floor all the way to a 500K plus business. This year, I've helped dozens of businesses or dozens of coaches go from complete beginner, not knowing exactly what to do, getting their business off the ground, getting some starts, getting some wins on the ground, and currently, helped a handful of people get over that 10K plus a week online fitness business and helped, people navigate everything in between. So today, my presentation, guys, is all about how to navigate the 3 stages of a 500K online business. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, make sure you save this. Make sure you subscribe, because we are going live with this sort of stuff every single day to help you guys, especially in 2024. My goal is to ramp up and become the best known coach for online coaches in Australia. And I need you guys to help me with that. So if you can subscribe, share this with a mate as well. That would be greatly appreciated. So kicking in, if you have ever been worried about where to go or what to do at each stage of your business, because they are very different. And I guess I've had the privilege this year of seeing each stage enough times to know where people get stuck and then also how to move them forward. So if that's ever been you and you are currently stuck in your business, I'm going to show you exactly how to navigate those 3 stages with a couple of cool little concepts that I think you guys might enjoy as well. I'm going to show you how to identify it. I'm going to show you how to overcome it. And then also maybe give you something to think about, as you go along in your journey. So anyway, who the fuck am I? So my name is Dylan. I am first and foremost an entrepreneur. As a young fella, my first business was selling walnuts on the side of a road. I don't know how old I was, probably the same age as this young fella here, 5, 6, maybe a little bit older. We had a tree out the back of my house, and I bagged up walnuts and sold them on the street at the time. So that was sort of my first venture into entrepreneurship. My second time was buying, I would go down to the local dairy, the local shop, and I would basically buy bags of chips, lollies, Coke, fizzy drinks, all of that sort of stuff. I put it in my room and I wanted to make a shop. Okay, and so as you can probably understand, I just basically ate all the product and we didn't have much traffic. So that taught me a good lesson about understanding that you need to have people coming through, and you also, if you're going to have something that costs more than just down the road, you better make sure that product is a lot better. So a couple of little lessons early on. In between that, I've grown a hoodie and singlet business. I've done all sorts of things. I've done online marketing for probably close to 10 years now. At the start, I didn't even realize I was doing it. I built websites when I was a young fellow, probably about 16, 17. Used to run like Dragon Ball Z blogs and that sort of thing. More recently, I've accepted the role of the mentor, the role of the role model, and I've been helping a ton of coaches people in general, business owners, to unlock, what's holding them back. And I really embrace this role. It's something that I never thought I would actually be part of, or do. I always sort of see myself as a tool I see, rather than a leader. But now I feel like I can embrace that and I can put my best foot forward because I believe I have something worthwhile sharing. And I just really want to see people have what I've had and potentially have something that changes the world if they just have access to it. So, which is very, very cool. Probably the only thing that's really been useful for me is this head down, bum up attitude. So I used to share sheep. I did that. I was in the sharing sheds for probably about 8 years. And I saw sheep for 6 of those years. And so there's a good saying in the sharing industry, and there's a couple actually. One is don't come home until they're done, which basically means if you know you've got an 8-hour day of sharing sheep, which if you've ever done it or seen it, basically you're sweating your ass off, 150, 160 beats per minute, 8 hours a day, dragging around anywhere between 70 to 100 kilo sheep. It's fucking hard work. And if you've got an 8-hour day, but the boss has actually given you, 12 hours worth of sheep, that's gonna be a big day when he says, don't come home until they're done. Here I am, Hobart, traveling with my son, up early, 5:30 a.m., getting the work done. Okay, getting the work done. I know that I just have to put my foot forward, keep moving forward and 1 foot at a time, making sure I go and grab another sheep, put down my head, do the work, keep my bum up and just keep working. Oftentimes, I think that's probably the only reason why, I've got ahead to where I am today, which is exciting. So just a little bit of social proof. Who have I helped with my mentoring? So over this time, I first started off looking to become elite at anything I do. I just love to master things. So first of all, I helped in the sharing industry. We helped with 13 world records. We ran 12 events in person of about 20 to 30 people all over Australia and New Zealand. We got government funding for this. We basically changed the industry. This lady here on the left, if you can see it, is actually, she said she was one of the best athletes they've ever seen in the sharing industry. So we sort of helped to make a small change on an industry that works very, very hard. And that's something I'm very proud of. We've also had hundreds of Share Fitness online clients. And guys, like these guys are the product of every excuse every client will have. They work in the outback, they've got no internet, they've got no access to the gym, they sweat their ass off 8 hours a day doing a hard physical labor job. They travel often up to an hour or more each way, so they don't have time. Somehow we've been able to help hundreds of online clients with these guys and get them to do the work. So every objection you've ever heard, these guys have conquered it, I guarantee it. I've also had 2 gyms. I've owned 2 gyms. I still own one of them. Recently sold one of them earlier this year to an awesome family that basically continued our legacy that we started there, which is amazing. And some fucking sick elite athletes as well. I've trained professional athletes in AFLW, rugby, rowing, lifting, basically any sport. Had also world records, or helped being a coach of world records in the rowing. Also helped a masters athlete add 5 kilos to a world record deadlift of about 180 kilos, and she's a mother of 6. So that's something I'm really, really proud of. AFLW girls this year, and they took out the flag for the AFLW and also won a heap of awards, which is epic. Also from Mamba, I've helped people go from 0 as an online coach all the way up to 15K per week. And I'm very, very proud of the system that we've built in here. I believe it's probably the most detailed mentorship. I believe that what we've got not only covers quick win strategies, but also helps you go and make a long-term business, navigating the ups and downs, the highs, the lows, often the biggest block of them all, the mindset sort of side of things. And we've also got a crew of coaches who just love what they do and help each other along, which is really, really important. But I think the most important person I've mentored is myself. And Reason being, if anyone's seen Snoop Dogg's, he did a speech and he's like, most importantly, I'd like to thank myself. Thank myself for getting up all those early days, those late nights, for not giving up on myself and working hard. And I truly believe, like, me backing myself and really putting every single thing I could into, getting better at my craft has allowed me to go on a trajectory that, I probably dreamed of, but I never thought was possible. 12 months ago, I essentially ticked off every single dream in my life, which comes with its own issues and challenges after that. And I'll share, like, I basically represented my country in an international weightlifting competition. I got sixth in the world, made more money than I ever had. I went to Disneyland with my kids, traveled to America 3 times, basically flew anytime I want, helped dozens of athletes, achieve professional careers, all this sort of stuff. And it was just wild. And it was all came together after me of just grinding and doing the work and backing myself and mentoring myself for years and years and years. And so, guys, I just want to sort of start off with that to prove that I've done some shit, like I'm not out here just talking shit, trying to show you guys, that, follow what I do and it'll make you bloody rich or anything like that. It's more so, look, hey, I've done this shit the hard way. I've grinded myself out. I've built myself into an elite coach. I never thought about being a business coach, but I was asked to do it and I was asked to share it because of proven results. And so hopefully I can share that with you guys today. And I hope this shows that, maybe potentially I am someone that deserves, I guess, this position and I accept it head on so that I can help you guys as well. So into our next part, guys, I really want to kick into the tactical side of this presentation. So over the last sort of 6 months, I've really started to simmer down and distill what I have seen consistently to make people successful as an online coach. And I believe there's 4 master skills, okay? At each level, there is what I call a boss, okay? So, and the reason why it's a boss is you got to conquer that boss before you move on to the next level. And so the 4 bosses are marketing, sales, systems, and mindset. Straightforward, makes sense. Each of them have a slightly different name every single time you go up a level, okay? And there's one boss that actually governs them all, and that's the boss of the calendar, or you managing yourself and creating time management so that you can actually master and conquer these skills, okay? So at stage 1, this is the startup stage, and this is what I call the immovable object. So I've been coaching Mamba for 2 years now. We're sort of like indirectly helping people sort of do this stuff probably for a year or so before that, just basically sharing what I've done with friends and other people in the industry. So what I've found is that the 0 to 10K is the hardest part, okay? Reason being is you don't have any of these skills. You don't have the marketing skill, you don't have the sales skills. Generally, your systems are not very tidy, and the mindset is quite hard to conquer because you've got no proof that this may work. And I like to call this the immovable object stage. And so what I say with this is, like, let's pretend you have a bullet train, okay? So you've got this huge bullet train, you know the potential of it, you know the speed that it can move at, but it just does not move unless you put a tremendous amount of force behind it. And so you're pushing, it's not moving. But if you continue to push on it, you get 1 millimeter. Cool, and you're like, shit, that hasn't moved much. You get 2 millimeters. All of a sudden, one of the wheels turns and you start to get this traction. If you keep pushing it for long enough, what will happen is that immovable object becomes an unstoppable force. And so that is the analogy I like to use for this. And for me as a coach, this is the stage that I love helping people with, but it's also the stage that requires the most amount of effort for me because in general, I'm going to teach you a hell of a lot of skills, okay? And so this is the point where if you listen hard enough and if you take enough action, we can get you off the ground. But just to understand, it's probably the hardest stage for everyone. And this is why, 90% of businesses fail within the first year to 3 years or something like that. It's very, very high. It's just because they don't master this stuff, okay? So number 1, the marketing you got to master, and you got to understand that content is not enough. So if you're posting on social media, and I've seen this over and over, guys, where people are posting all the time on social media and they're getting nowhere. You have to make your content actually speak to someone. People will tell you it's your avatar, your niche, and I'm not necessarily a big believer in that for a couple of reasons. Is that people look at niches and avatars from a demographic perspective. Like, I help 35-year-old dads lose the dad bod, and it's like, cool, bro, how many 35-year-old dads watch your exact post that you put up on your social media at that time? If you're running ads, slightly different equation, okay? But then it becomes a slightly different skill as well. So when you're doing this, the marketing that I recommend is just to become a product of your product, okay? So go get yourself in amazing shape at whatever it is. If you want to be the #1 confidence person on the internet, go and do that, okay? If you want to be a boss powerlifter where you teach people how to do powerlifting, go and do that for 12 months. Be fucking world class at whatever it is you want to sell, okay? Go be a product of the product. If you're out of shape, if you're weak as fuck, and if you're like not showing up with the mindset that you preach, no one's going to believe you, okay? No one's going to believe you, and no one's going to buy your product. People believe what they see these days, and this is what you guys have to understand. Content is not enough. You need to learn the skill of using that content to speak to people, and this was something that completely changed my life. Back before my online business started to actually gain traction, I was posting content all the time. I had YouTube, I had blogs, I had all sorts of stuff. And it wasn't until I learned to tell stories and stuff like that, and also how to craft my message, that actually started to get traction with my content. But the thing that changed it all was me going and being a product of the product, going on the weightlifting journey where I said, I'm going to go and compete, which ended up becoming, 6th in the world. That was me becoming a product of the product. We now train, weightlifters, we now train powerlifters, we now train all of that sort of stuff. Okay. So give yourself and commit to 12 months to become world-class at whatever it is you want to sell. And I guarantee it'll be much easier to sell. I promise you. Cool. Sales. The sales thing you got to get a hold of right now is enthusiasm trumps all. Okay. So if you're the most passionate, enthusiastic person, that's going to help you a long, long way in sales, especially bluffing your way through those first ones. At this point, you should be learning scripts. People get this wrong, is they're like, I just get on a call, oh, that person just didn't want to do it. And I see it all the time. People, they have a sales process, but there's no actual structure to it. So what you need to do is learn a script. I've gone through and read, Brad Bedford's sales scripts, and, everybody that sticks to that and uses that now has a framework. They now have a system that they can use to actually repeatably grow their business through their sales. Okay, so learn a script, spend 15 minutes per day practicing sales, and within 12 months, you'll be good enough at sales, okay? You just need to be good enough, especially once your marketing and stuff starts to line up. But once again, people believe what they see. If you're a product of your product and your content is on point and it's speaking to people, it makes the sales process so much easier. That's why, you'll see our businesses that we grow inside of Mumba is that their marketing, their sales is fucking easy. People often jump on and be like, yep, what is it? Just sign me up, because they've done the front end work with all of the content. People see that they can get results and they're a product of their product, and it just makes the sales process so much easier. Where people go wrong in terms of this stage is they put too much emphasis on their systems. They're like, I need to get the perfect onboarding script. I need to get the perfect check-in form. I need the perfect app. And honestly, at this point, you don't know what's going to be perfect for you or your clients because you don't have any clients. So what you got to do, guys, is you got to put enough pressure on your systems to see what's broken. Basically, you need to pressure test it so that you can break stuff and then you can go and fix it. Okay. And I learned this the hard way. I've built membership portals. I've built websites. I've built ClickFunnels. I've had Facebook groups. Basically, I've done it all, guys, and so what I found that what actually happened, it wasn't until I got to about 80 members online where I started to see some cracks. What I found was that, at 6 to 12 months of people being on my program, I'd have to go and create a heap of new programs all at once. So I was spending hours on the weekend just writing programs and stuff like that. And it became a bit of a nightmare. But once I figured that out and learned how to digitize and structure all my systems, all my programs, create prototype programs, it made it plain sailing again, and it made it very, very easy to deliver, and I got back my time. But basically from there, I was able to understand I only needed to create systems or work on systems as they came up rather than trying to build them in advance, because the marketing sales was the most important part. At this point, really, you only need the fundamentals. You need one app. It doesn't really matter what it is. At the moment, Trainerize and Kahunas are probably the leaders in terms of ease of use as a coach and then ease of use as a client. So Trainerize and Kahunas is very good. Stripe, very, very good to take your payments. And then you need a social media platform. That's all you need, guys. Couple $100 and you've got a potential $500,000 a year business, okay? Listen to that. I own gyms, and for anyone who owns a gym listening to this, you'll know that that's ridiculous. Couple $100 a month to have a $500,000 a year business compared to what it costs to run a gym. You, including myself, will probably want to shut down your gym, but that's fine. There's other reasons for gyms. Then you got a calendar mastery, guys, and I see this. Like I'm a father of two. We've owned two gyms. I run an online business. I coach one-to-one PTs, and I have 60 odd students inside of my Mamba program. Still get it all done. Still get a lot of content done, podcasts, all of that sort of stuff. I'm here creating. So master your calendar. This is very, very important. I do have a training on calendar mastery that would really help you guys just get more done. It's come from a lot of stuff like Atomic Habits or habit stacking, all of this sort of stuff. So if you are listening to this, just send me a message on my Instagram at Dylan Mamba Fowler and say calendar, and I'll send you a training on how you can master that calendar as well. Then we have the mindset, guys. So at this point, the number one mindset you need is you need to hustle. You can hustle yourself all the way to 10K per month. I absolutely promise. All you need to do is reach out to a lot of people, get a lot of people, talk to a lot of people, go and connect with your current network, and just make sure you're putting in that work, because this work that you need to get this thing moving at this stage requires a lot of effort. So don't tell yourself that, hey, look, I don't have time, because you do. I promise you do, and you have time. The only reason you don't feel like you have time is because you're scared of failing or scared of looking at something and feeling like you're an idiot or something like that. Look at that fear, take it head on, and just work on it hard, and you'll get it done. Also, now you have to understand that you are now a digital marketer. This is something that's become very, very clear to me, especially in the last sort of 6 months, I would say. I started to understand the business that we actually have as an online coach. So an analogy is that if you think about McDonald's, what is McDonald's actual business? Okay, and most people say they sell burgers or stuff like that. But what McDonald's actually does is they buy real estate. Okay, so they buy the best real estate on the best corners that are going to have the most traffic, because they know if they do that, they're going to sell the most burgers. When you're an online coach, you're actually an online marketer. The more you understand that, the more you can grow this real estate, grow this network, and then the product that you deliver is your online coaching, but you have more opportunity for that. I own gyms, guys, and I've said this a number of times, but basically we have a 5 kilometer sort of radius that we can get clients from, okay? Online, it's literally limitless. It's literally limitless. It's just your skill of being a digital marketer that basically holds back that real estate. So as soon as you switch your mindset and understand the reason why your online business doesn't grow is because you're focusing on the wrong skill. You're focusing on an in-person skill versus an online skill. Your life will change forever. I absolutely promise. Again, the bullet train is a really important thing. It's going to take a lot of effort to get this thing moving, but once it is, it's a completely unstoppable force. Okay, and it's wild to see sometimes. And at this time, guys, we have something that has been very, very valuable to myself. We teach this to our Mamba students, is call it the starting 5. These are 5 daily non-negotiables that I just want you to ask yourself, if I was to do these things every single day, would my life be good? So number 1 is train. Go and be a product of the product. Set yourself some big goals with your training. Go and do that. and basically get yourself in that peak physiological state. You need a lot of energy to get this thing moving. You're going to need your training to be on point. Then number 2 is learn. You need to learn every single day. Go and spend that 15 minutes on sales. Go and spend 15 minutes listening to this podcast. Again, write down some notes. Go and put some intentional learning time in your calendar every single day. This will move you forward. All you really need, and I want to shout out to my man, Jesse McJanet, who's one of our top number students. He's like, all you need is 20 hours of dedicated learning on one topic to be world-class at it. And generally that's going to take about 12 months. And so people listen to this, maybe you switch on and off, maybe you actually only dedicated 1 minute, of actual listening time where you're taking down notes, going back and reviewing them. Imagine you multiply that by 20 hours. How much would you consume? How much would you learn? Go back through this and listen to it 5 times, write down notes every single time, and I guarantee you'll take more out of it, especially this little part here. Then we want you to earn. I want you to get into the mindset and the actions of earning money every single day by either going and doing some reach outs to people in your network, going connecting with people. Basically, you have unlimited leads. You can call people. You can go to see people in store, in person. You can go to local businesses. You can go online. You can post social media. You need to go out there and have the mindset of, I'm going to make a booking or a sale every single day. Okay, it doesn't matter how it happens, but I'm gonna do it. We give you so much value on how you can do this. You literally just need to action it every day. 9 times out of 10, it's because you don't have that hustler's mindset or that attitude of, I'm going to earn every single day, is the reason why you don't do it. There's some sort of mental block that's holding you back from saying, hey, I deserve this, or I need to grow, I need to make this happen. Change it to, I need to earn every single day by making a sale or a booking, and I guarantee your life changes forever. Absolutely forever. And I know this because mine has, guys. So then you need to give, okay? And so when I talk about give, this is where we create content or share our knowledge. And so one of the reasons why training is very, very important every day, if we take that and we share the context of what we're doing in our own training or the product of our product, people are going to start to see that and they're going to be like, I like what this guy is doing, or I like what this girl is doing. Maybe that's something that'll work for me. So if you're always giving that value from the perspective of what you're doing or what you're learning, it makes it absolutely huge. I'm doing this on a large scale here with my podcast. I'm just sharing you guys what I've learned or what I've done, and you give and do that every single day, and you'll find that the value you put into the audience starts to allow you to earn more from that audience. Okay. And then the last one, which is probably the most important, and something that I often forget to really make sure I have attention on, is to love, okay? Love yourself, love your friends, love your family. Go and fill up your cup. Be kind to yourself on this journey. Go and connect with your family, your friends, because ultimately, guys, when it's all said and done, that stuff is very, very important. The other 4 allow you to have, deeper relationships with your friends, your family, but it also allows you to give them stuff that they never thought was possible, experiences and all of that sort of stuff. So the starting 5, guys, if you were to do them every single day, how would your life be? That's all I want to know. Cool. Sweet. Level 2, the midpoint. Cool. And this is the 10 to 30K mark. And so this is the point where you've sort of proven that, hey, I can go and get a couple of clients. My marketing and sales is generally good enough at this point. I actually call this the silk pajama stage. And so I've seen a lot of people get to this stage. And just before I carry on, like, you probably notice, guys, that these presentations get shorter from here, because that starting stage is the hardest part. It's where it requires the most attention, the most work, and that's why I spend so much time on here. So moving forward, what I find at this point is there's a couple things. As a coach, for me, how I get people from this point, the 10 to 30K mark, to that 40K plus mark, is generally I'm assessing 2 things. Like, where's their mindset at right now? Can I remove that block? And then what systems do they need to work on to move forward? And so I call this the silk pajama phase. And so a lot of people, myself included, at some point, will make a certain amount of money that they're like, I never imagined that sort of money before. Whether it's, 2K a week, 5K a week, 10K a week, you find it hard to get out of bed because you're like, you got all the money in the world. You don't really need to work that much. And often this will make you a little bit like you're feeling lazy. Okay. Life's good. Fuck it. Who cares? You know, it is good at this point. And I call this the silk pajama phase. Okay. And so what that means is there's a great quote from, I believe it's Marvin Hagler. He said that, you know, it's really hard to get up at 4 a.m. and run road work when you're sleeping in silk pajamas. And if you guys follow fighting or anything like that, you see it. Once people make a lot of money, it's hard for them to get up and do the hard grunt dirt work that they've done to get to that point. It makes it difficult because life's good, life's comfortable. There's not that pain of driving you or being bloody flat broke, driving you forward to get out of that. So you have to go and recreate this, and I'm going to talk about this soon. But basically at this point, guys, with your marketing systems or the marketing boss you got to conquer, this is where you create your portfolio. Okay, so you have a heap of social proof. You start to share this. You start to get really, really good with what we call the social funnel. And if you see any of our high-level Mamba students, you'll see that their content and their marketing system is fucking world class, especially on Instagram. Because what they've done is they're intentional with the way they show their social proof. They're intentional with their content. They're intentional with getting people to raise up their hands all the time. And they're constantly bringing in people, and they've just got this bucket load of attention that they can basically harvest. At this point, this is where you join the pros. This is where you get very, very good at your social media. Reason being, you've got the fundamentals and the basics. Now you just need to fine tune it so that you can expand that audience massively. At this point with your sales, what you're basically doing is master engagement and conversation through the DMs. Okay. So at this point, you're basically able to turn the tap on and off at any time you want. And the reason generally why you will turn the tap off at this point is because of your systems. This is where I said before in the last stage, this is where you're pressure testing your systems. You're starting to find leaks. What will often happen is you're like, shit, if I get 5 new clients this week, they're just going to fall out the other ends. Or, you know, if I get 5 new clients this week, that's going to add another 10 hours of work to my schedule. And I just don't want to do that. So often at this point, systems is the really important part. And so what you can often do is hire one key team member here to do $5 tasks. So you'll hire a virtual assistant to help polish your content, to help plan your content, to help move your content onto different platforms and get all of this stuff all done. You can also get them to do things like onboarding. Or helping out, you know, with some of your messaging and stuff like that and booking people in. You can often too get them to do little things that, you know, may only seem like half an hour on the surface, but it's half an hour of distracted time. So you bring them back in, you basically get someone to take care of that, which frees up more time to go back in marketing and sell. And that's the really, really important thing when you look at a digital marketer. At this point too, you're going to work on product refinement. This is where you have enough people in your program to test and measure what world-class is. One of the things we do with our Mamba students is we give them a sheet and we're like, define results, relationships, and experience. If you were to create a 10 out of 10 service, which would you have in there? What would you have in there? We then go and define it, then we then go and create it, and we tick it off as we go, and we turn each dial so that with your results, you're getting 10 out of 10 results. With your relationships, your connection to your coaching community, you're getting 10 out of 10 on that. And then in terms of experience, everything's just so dialed in that it's a 10 out of 10. And this is where we really work on that. Retention's a big one at this point too. When you got 100 plus clients, guys, it's difficult to manage everybody. So we really work hard on your retention systems here. Your onboarding's dialed in. Your retention, you're generally getting someone to help with that sort of stuff as well, but it's a big focus. And then your social funnel, this is where, as you start to get slick at this stuff, you can get a team that can help you build out one of the fucking most legit marketing systems you ever see. You'll be able to do launches, podcasts, all of this sort of stuff. We can start to add this in because you now have the skill set and the understanding of the other two, marketing and sales, that we can then go and turn this into a system, which allows you to 10x your reach and your audience. The mindsets you need to really work on here is that silk pajama mindset. The way to overcome it is it's just literally you just don't have a big enough reason to try hard again. Okay, so for me, one of my mentors was like, Dylan, you're going to make $1 million a year. It's just a given, you know. I was like, come on, man, that's a big task. And he was like, well, you're right. And he's like, but who is Dylan at who is Dylan and what does he need to be to make $10 million a year? I couldn't answer him. And this was when earlier this year, I sort of lost my way a little bit. I lost that drive and that hunger because I'd essentially achieved everything in my life that I wanted to achieve. And so that really haunted me for a little while. It took me about 6 months, and then I finally figured it out. What was the reason for me wanting to make $10 million a year? If you go onto my Instagram, I generally share this most days because that's my goals. You know, now I know why I need $10 million per year is I need to grow an experience center so that I can take all of the knowledge I've had, bring people who are fucking amazing at all of their studies and industries, bring them all together in one place where they train, they eat, they learn, they give and they love, you know, every single day, and they're able to take their stuff, take themselves to another level. And that's what I need that $10 million a year for, so I can build that. I don't need $10 million in my bank. I'm not driven by money, but I am driven by purpose. Okay. And so when you redefine that, you'll find that, you know, you'll find all of the energy you ever need, I promise. Then you need to go back and resort your calendar. Calendar becomes very, very important at this stage because you've ultimately got to juggle a few more different things. So making sure that calendar is dialed in is very, very important. So stage 3, this is the 500K plus a year business, okay? And so this is what I call a real business, because what you're going from is basically a solopreneur, and you've really got to ask yourself now, do I want to become a real business owner and take this to, you know, $1 million, $2 million, $3 million per year, okay? And so at this stage, everything just starts to get done on a high level, okay? You start to really move forward and create systems and a mindset of an elite performer. This is where you become a high performance business owner, okay? So first one is marketing. One thing you need to look at this point, so you've got basically 2 ways you do your marketing. You have internal and external. Internal marketing is your social media, your email list, your text list, basically all your network that sees you, okay? Then you have external marketing, which is stages, other people's platforms. Anytime someone has an audience with your potential clients in it and you're able to get on that stage and perform or present for them, that's you getting in front of other people's eyes. At this stage, this is what you need to master. You need to grow your audience and expand as much as you possibly can and create some more real estate. I have a client right now, she's doing somewhere between 10 and 15K per week. She has about 3,000 Instagram followers. Okay, so add that up. She's got 230, 250 clients or something from about 3,000. So imagine if she had 30,000 clients. How much money is she making? How much impact is she having? She's probably got 1,000 clients. Okay, so her biggest thing right now to move forward is to expand that network as big as she possibly can. You also need omnipresence. You need to be the only person people think about when they think about whatever it is you're world class in. You need to be on podcasts, you need to be on YouTube, you need to be on, you know, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, emails, everything. And these are little bits and pieces that are essentially due to a system and a team. Okay, so this stuff here is all about repurposing content, being very, very efficient with certain platforms and certain types of media that you can repurpose and turn into reels, you know, stories, all of that sort of stuff. And the more you can master this omnipresence, the more reach, once again, you're going to get, but also the more attention you're going to hold. Experience at this time is very, very important as well. Creating amazing experiences, whether it's retreats, whether it's, you know, in-person events, or whether it's online events that are absolutely incredible. And we're running an online event for our Mamba crew, which is, you know, the MVP week. And I cover a lot of this stuff as well, how you guys can create something that is absolutely phenomenal in the online space, you know, through the power of branding, through the power of knowing exactly who your people are, who your tribe is, and basically creating something that is unforgettable, which is huge. Team. You need a team at this point to do a lot of that groundwork. So it's not easy to do this, guys. And I'll say right now, like, this is the skill set I'm working on right now, is how can I create that media team that's able to redistribute all of this stuff? Because I can create hours and hours of content a day, but I need it to be redistributed and put across different platforms. So setting that up and making that happen is not an easy thing. But once you've got it set up, it is amazing. Sales at this point, generally it comes down to a team. You have either a couple of really, really good appointment setters. You may potentially have a phone salesperson as you get bigger as well. Generally, the businesses, and this is just me seeing from an outside perspective and no personal experience myself, is at this point, if you're above that sort of $1 million a year, you're looking at having, an actual sales rep who does calls and stuff for you as well. Because there's such a large volume of leads coming in, you just can't call everyone. So that's important there. Systems. We teach a delegation automation system and basically use AI to create a playbook here. So the first thing we do is an audit of your calendar. What's sucking your soul? What vampires are hiding in your calendar that, like, every time you look at it, just like bites you in the neck and suck your blood just a little bit more? And so we work backwards and we remove those, and then we basically only fill your calendar up with things that you love doing, whether it's delivering content, whether it's delivering to your clients and connecting with your clients. Everything else we start to systemize, automate, or delegate to someone else in your team, and we use AI basically to build that out. The mindset you need at this is the daily 5. Do not stop doing what got you to this point. You just change your daily 5 and you make them a higher level. You make them on a level that's like, maybe before you were world-class in your neighborhood. Now it's, how do I become world-class in my country? How do I become world-class, on the planet? How do I do that? And how do I adjust the standards of my daily 5 so that my standards, so that work and that effort reflects my business at this stage. Also too, you got to realize this point is where you're just getting started. This is where the fun really starts, and it's a really, really cool point of business. And why I say it's a real business is you've got to get skills that you never imagined. You've got to learn leadership, you've got to learn systems, you've got to learn team, and it's a real challenge. It's somewhere where I'm at right now, and I really, really enjoy this part because it's like you realize, like, I don't know fucking shit. And now, every single day, every single week, the amount of learning and knowledge I'm getting at this point just exponentially grows everything. And it's fucking wild. It's very, very exciting. And I cannot wait to see where I'm at 2 to 3 years from now. Same with my member crew that are at the same level. It's absolutely exciting. You also got to go back and have that hustler's mindset. Okay. And so at this point, you don't just hustle hard. You hustle harder, but you hustle smarter. Great book by 50 Cent is about how you can hustle harder and hustle smarter, okay? Go and nail this, because you need that mindset. You need to work. You need to grind. This is where you become a real business owner. And if you get above that $1 million a year, and you reset that purpose and you reset that compass to go to an even bigger business so that you can have more impact, whether it's on yourself, your family, or, your community. Yeah, life's amazing. Life's amazing. So making sure you go back to that. And so, guys, a couple of things with this is, these are the 3 levels of a 500K a year business. So I've taken people from 0 to 10K. I've taken people through that midpoint, the 10 to 30K. I've also got people now who are navigating this 500K plus a year business. And this is the exact things that they work on at each stage. Guys, I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions, do feel free to reach out. What I would say is go back through this. What stage are you at? Go back through that stage, listen to each part, and ask yourself, what part am I missing now? What boss am I not conquering? How can I go and defeat this boss? Because if you understand the boss that's in front of you, whether it's marketing, sales, systems, or mindset, you can then go and attack it head on, overcome it, and then move to the next level. If you haven't subscribed, guys, make sure you subscribe. Feel free to reach out to me, Dylan Mumba Fowler, on Instagram, and we'll catch you guys soon.